There are things you find out slowly. And then there are things that hit you all at once, like a door swinging open in a room you didn't know existed. Mine came on a Tuesday morning in March. I was in a federal attorney's office on 5th Street in Cincinnati, 2 blocks from our headquarters. I had 49 pages on the table in front of me. Victor had 11. He thought he was going to walk out of that building the winner. He'd spent 13 months planning it. He'd moved $145.3 million out of our company through shell companies, ghost vendors, and falsified wire transfers. He'd forged my signature on 17 documents. He'd walked into a federal agent's office and handed them a file with my name on every page. And he genuinely believed, right up until that Tuesday morning, that I had no idea. The problem? I'd been watching him move every single dollar for 11 months. I knew about the shell companies before he'd finished setting them up. I knew about the forged signatures before the ink was dry. I knew about the federal meeting before he walked through the door. And while Victor Crane was in one office, convinced he was ending my life, I was 2 blocks away, finishing a 49-page document that ended his. My name is James Holloway. I am 61 years old. I have been building things my entire adult life. And this is the story of what happens when a man who built a $145 million company watches his partner try to steal it, and decides the best move is to say absolutely nothing. For 11 months. Welcome to Proven Right. Get comfortable. Grab something to drink. The people in these stories had every single chance to do the right thing. They just chose wrong. Subscribe, hit that bell, drop a comment below, and do not go anywhere. Because what Victor Crane walked into that Tuesday morning, he did not walk out of the same way. I need to tell you about Victor Crane before I tell you what he did. Not because it makes what he did more acceptable. It doesn't. But because the man who sat across from me in a steakhouse in Columbus in 1994 and convinced me to give him 45% of everything I'd built, that man was genuinely impressive. And you can't understand how a betrayal this size happens without understanding what was real before it. Victor and I met at a manufacturing trade conference in Columbus. I was 33. He was 31. I was running a small industrial supply operation out of a converted warehouse in Blue Ash, Ohio. $40,000 to start. 5 years of building a contact list the hard way. 11 clients who paid on time and 2 who didn't. A company that worked but hadn't yet become what I could see it becoming. Victor was a sales consultant. Sharp dresser. Good handshake. The kind of man who walked into a room and immediately knew who the decision makers were, where to position himself, and what to say to the right person at exactly the right moment. We had coffee the next morning. Dinner 2 nights later. A 3-hour conversation at a corner table at a steakhouse on High Street where the owner knew my name and kept the coffee coming. By the time we left that restaurant, I had offered him 45%. I kept 55%. My attorney, a careful man named Robert Vance who asked questions that sounded polite but weren't, drafted the partnership agreement. Victor signed it on a Tuesday morning. He shook my hand with both of his. I remember noting that. The two-handed shake. The specific warmth of a man trying a little too hard to signal sincerity. I noted it. I did not act on it. That was my first mistake. The first year of Crane Holloway was good. Genuinely good. Victor's client relationships were real. He brought in 4 accounts in the first 6 months. All legitimate. All valuable. His instincts in a room were exceptional. He could read a prospective client in about 90 seconds. Who the actual decision maker was, what they were worried about, what they needed to hear first. That's a specific, genuine skill. By year 3, we had 22 clients. By year 6, 41. By year 9, we were operating across 8 states. $145.3 million in annual revenue. A company that had taken both of us everything we had to build. And I was proud of it. I want to say that clearly. Regardless of what came after, I was proud of what we built. What I did not fully see, what I saw and kept finding reasons to reframe, was the specific quality Victor had of treating every relationship as a transaction with an end date. Clients were worth managing until a better option appeared. Staff were assets until they became costs. And I would eventually understand, the largest single obstacle between Victor Crane and everything he believed he had earned. The first sign came 14 months before March the 4th. My CFO, Patricia Sims, runs our quarterly operational reviews with the kind of focused thoroughness that makes accountants nervous and business owners grateful. She called me on a Tuesday afternoon in January. "James, I'm looking at 2 vendor payments in Q3. One for $480,000. One for $612,000. Vendor name, Meridian Freight Solutions." I didn't recognize the name. "What's the issue? I can't find Meridian Freight Solutions in our approved vendor list. There's no contract on file. No shipping records corresponding to either payment date. Signatures?" A pause. "Victor's. On both." I called Victor that afternoon. He had an explanation ready. He always had an explanation ready. Emergency freight situation. Client needed it fast. He'd used a vendor we didn't have a formal relationship with. Meant to loop me in. The timing had been complicated. His voice was completely easy. Warm, even. The voice of a man who had rehearsed this specific answer and was satisfied with how it landed. I accepted it. I should not have accepted it. But 9 years of trust is a heavy thing. It sits on your judgment like weather. 2 weeks later, Patricia called again. 3 more payments. Same pattern. Different vendor names. All signed by Victor. All to accounts that didn't correspond to any vendor in our system. Across 5 transactions, $4.3 million. "Patricia," I said, "pull every vendor payment from the last 18 months. Flag anything that matches this pattern. And Patricia, don't tell anyone we're doing this. Nobody. Not accounting. Not any of the other senior staff. You already know who it is," she said. "I have a strong suspicion. I need documentation before I know." She called back 4 days later. Across 23 transactions spanning 13 months, $47 million. I sat at my kitchen table for a long time after that call. 47 million. I had been in that man's presence 100 times over the previous 13 months. Shaken his hand at charity dinners. Approved quarterly reports. Sat in boardrooms and nodded and moved forward. And the entire time, he had been dismantling something we had spent 9 years building together. I called William Tanner. He'd been my attorney for 18 years. Sharp, quiet, economical with words in the way of people who have learned that the wrong word at the wrong moment costs more than the right word said slowly. "William, I need to see you this week." "How serious?" 47 million serious. A pause. "Come in Thursday." William's office is on 4th Street. 3rd floor. No plaques on the wall. No trophies. Just a desk, 2 chairs, and a man who had seen enough in 30 years of practice to remain completely unimpressed by most things. I sat down across from him that Thursday and laid out everything Patricia had found. Every transaction. Every account number. Every shell vendor name. William read through it without a word. When he finished, he looked at me over his reading glasses. "You've been sitting on this for 4 days. I needed to be certain." "You're certain now? That Victor has been running fraudulent vendor payments through our accounts for 13 months? "Yes." He removed his glasses. "James, I need to ask you something directly." "Go ahead. Is there any possibility that anything in here traces back to you? Any signature, any authorization, any document that Victor could use to redirect this?" I had spent 4 days thinking about this. "No. My name is on quarterly reports that show clean numbers. These payments were buried in line items I would have had no reason to flag in a routine sign-off." "Which means you can be framed," William said quietly. The word landed in the room like something dropped on a tile floor. "Yes," I said. William put his reading glasses back on. "Then we have 2 options. We go to the authorities now. Or we build a case so thorough and complete that the moment it lands in front of a federal prosecutor, there is not a single question about who did what. The second option. It'll take time." "How long?" He looked at the documents between us. 9 months. Maybe 11. I thought about Victor. About the hand on my shoulder at the anniversary dinner. About the 2-handed handshake in 1994. "Build it," I said. "You've been with me this long. Do one thing right now. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell. We put out new stories every week, and every single one is worth your time." Now, back to James. Here is what I want you to understand about the 11 months that followed. I showed up. Every Monday morning. I walked into that boardroom. I shook Victor's hand. I sat through quarterly reviews where Patricia and I both knew the numbers in front of us were lies, and neither of us changed expression. I attended the company anniversary dinner in October. I gave a toast. Victor and I stood together for a photograph. He put his hand on my shoulder. I smiled for the camera. That was the hardest part. Not the fraud. Not the documentation, the smile. Because the only way this worked, the only way William's case stayed intact, was if Victor had no idea we were building it. The moment he sensed any shift, any change in temperature, any hesitation from me, a man like Victor would start moving money faster than we could trace it. He would start covering tracks we hadn't found yet. He would get ahead of us. So I gave him nothing to read. Every Monday morning for 11 months. Every handshake. Every board meeting. Every laugh at a dinner I didn't want to attend. I was his partner. I was his friend. I was exactly what I had always been. While Patricia and William, 2 blocks away, in a document that was getting thicker every week, were building the end of it. By January, we had traced $47 million in payments to 6 shell entities. By February, all 6 entities traced to a single beneficial owner, Victor Crane. By the last week of February, the full picture was complete. $145.3 million. 13 months. 49 pages. William called me on a Thursday evening. "James, we have everything. You're certain? Every dollar, every entity, every wire transfer, bank records, registration documents, correspondence." 49 pages. A federal prosecutor will look at this and not need to ask a single follow-up question. I sat at my kitchen table, Cincinnati, in late February, the particular gray light of a Midwestern winter. "William," I said, "has Victor been in contact with federal investigators?" A pause. "Why?" "Because if he's planning to frame me, he would go first. Before I could. That's what I would do." Another pause. Longer. "I'll make a call." He called back 2 hours later. "James, you need to come in tomorrow morning." That early. Victor Crane met with a federal attorney yesterday afternoon. I was at William's office at 7:45 in the morning. He handed me a coffee. He looked at me. "Victor told federal investigators that you authorized the transfers, that you had been systematically looting the company through fraudulent vendor accounts, and that he discovered it 3 weeks ago. He presented forged authorization documents with your signature, digital alterations of existing records. A credible package." How credible? Credible enough that without our file, a federal prosecutor opens an investigation into you this week. I held my coffee with both hands. "And with our file." William picked up the 49-page document, set it back down. "With our file, the conversation goes differently." He looked at me. "James, Victor is sitting in a federal attorney's office right now believing he has already won. He believes you don't know what he's done. He believes the documentation points at you. He believes he is about to watch you get arrested while he walks out with $145.3 million and 30 years of your work." I looked at the document on his desk. "He's been wrong before," I said. William almost smiled. "Ready?" I stood up, put on my jacket. "Let's go." The federal attorney's name was David Marsh, 44 years old. The specific kind of sharp that comes from years of listening to things that don't add up and learning to wait until they do. We sat down across from him at 9 a.m., 2 blocks from where Victor was finishing his version of the story. William placed the 49-page document on the table. David Marsh looked at it, then at us. "What is this?" "Complete documentation of the fraudulent transfer of $145.3 million from Crane Holloway Industries by Victor Crane over a 13-month period," Williams said, "including the 6 shell entities, their beneficial ownership, the bank records, and the forged authorization documents Mr. Crane has been preparing to present to you." David Marsh did not move for a moment. Then he picked up the document. He read it. Not all 49 pages, but enough. When he set it down, he looked at me. "Mr. Holloway, how long have you been aware of this?" 11 months, I said. "You documented it for 11 months without going to authorities. I needed the case to be airtight before Victor had the opportunity to move on me first." He was quiet. "The signature documents he presented." "Forged," William said. "Page 32 traces the digital alteration to a specific workstation in our Columbus satellite office. That workstation requires Victor Crane's access credentials." David Marsh looked at the document one final time. Then he picked up his phone. He made one call. He spoke for 93 seconds. He set the phone down. "Gentlemen, I'm going to need a few minutes." He stood up, walked out of the conference room. William and I sat in silence. The Cincinnati morning moved past the window. I thought about a trade conference in Columbus in 1994. A two-handed handshake. 9 years. 14 months of watching. 11 months of building. And 49 pages on a table that told the truth exactly as it happened. David Marsh came back in 14 minutes. He sat down. He looked at me. "Mr. Holloway, thank you for coming in this morning. We're almost at the end. Before we get there, hit that like button right now. Subscribe if you haven't. We put out new stories every single week. Every one of them is worth your time." Now, the last part. Victor Crane was arrested at 11:15 that morning, 2 blocks from where we had been sitting. I was in William's car on I-75 when his phone rang. He listened for 30 seconds. He said, "Understood. Thank you." He hung up. He looked at me. "It's done." I looked out the window at Cincinnati moving past. The gray February sky. The particular stillness of a city that doesn't know yet that something significant just happened inside it. I didn't feel what I expected to feel. No rush of victory. No sudden lightness. Just a long, quiet exhale. The kind you didn't know you were holding. The federal case moved quickly. The documentation was airtight. Victor Crane pleaded guilty to wire fraud, securities fraud, and breach of fiduciary duty. Sentencing followed. Recovered assets came back through civil proceedings. Not all of it, but a significant portion. Patricia Sims received a recognition that was entirely inadequate compared to what she actually did. She handled 11 of the worst months in the company's history without flinching once. 42 clients stayed through the proceedings. 11 left. I understood. Trust, once shaken, requires time. We rebuilt it. By year 2 after the settlement, Crane Holloway had 49 clients. The name changed. Holloway Industrial Group. January of the year after sentencing. I dropped the Crane. Not out of anger. Out of accuracy. Here's what I know about being a patient man. Most people think patience is passive. They think it means waiting and hoping and eventually giving up. They're wrong. Patience is the most deliberately aggressive thing a man can do. It is waking up every morning knowing exactly what is happening and choosing to wait because you know precisely where the line is and you are not crossing it until you are ready. For 11 months, I walked into that boardroom. I shook Victor's hand. I attended his dinners and stood for his photographs and smiled at the right moments. And every single time, I knew exactly what he was doing. And every single time, I chose to wait. Because anger is a flood, and floods are unpredictable. Precision is a scalpel, and you don't rebuild something significant with a flood. You rebuild it, one careful cut at a time. Victor Crane made one mistake. Not the fraud. The fraud was calculated. His mistake was simpler. He decided I was the kind of man who could be underestimated. He looked at a 61-year-old man with arthritic hands and 31 years of honest work, and he thought, "That is a man who will not see this coming." He was wrong. I had been watching longer than he had been planning. Here's what I want you to take from this. Not the business lesson, not the legal strategy. Just this. The people who try to take what you've built are almost always counting on you not paying attention. They are counting on your trust, your goodwill, your reluctance to believe someone you've known that long could do something that large. And sometimes they're right. But sometimes, when you've spent 31 years learning what it costs to build something, and you are not willing to lose it to a man who did not pay that cost, sometimes they miscalculate. And the miscalculation costs them everything. Holloway Industrial Group currently operates across 11 states. 53 clients. A reputation built twice. Once right, once righter. Victor Crane's sentencing was finalized on a Wednesday afternoon. I was in my office when William called to tell me. I thanked him. I hung up. I went back to work. That's it. That's the whole ending. Some things don't need more than that. Thank you for being here. If this story meant something to you, leave a comment. We read every single one. Subscribe, hit the like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and we'll see you in the next one.